Hello, welcome to SwitchedOn, Paul speaking, and today having a look at Inertial Drift, which has just come out on the Nintendo Switch. I think it came out on the 11th of September. Trying very hard not to say Initial D, the very famous sort of Japanese anime and racing game, which kind of, don't know, influences this one, should I say. So this is a drifting game, if that's not obvious from the name of the game. And it's got a fairly unique mechanic in it and a fairly unique look. It's got a really nice sort of cel-shaded look to the game, which looks really cool. It was one of the first things that grabbed my attention when I've been sort of following the trailers over the past few months. And the game's pretty unique too. We're just going to pick a racer here and show you what it's like in the arcade mode. We've got these, I'm quite glad this actually came up in the arcade mode. We've got these kind of story cutscenes. There's like a story mode in the game. I'm not entirely sure it kind of fits with the vibe too much. It's not something I care for really. The gameplay is really nice and it does give you kind of a bit of a vibe to play, you know, to play alongside the gameplay. But yeah, not convinced. So gameplay wise, what's unique about this is there's no kind of braking as such. The drifting's done on the right stick, so you move the right stick left and right to initiate your drift. So I'm holding the right stick left and right here to do the drifts. I'm not very good at it. It's a very difficult game because when you're just using the left stick to steer left and right, there's virtually no movement, which is really odd. Sort of, if you want to move across the track, you've really got to drift. So I'm holding full left on the left stick there. It's just not moving. You can let go of the accelerator button, as you might see me doing a few times there, to get a tighter drift. So that's kind of how you get around even tighter corners. So like there, let go of the accelerator button, and it kind of goes into that extra stage of drifting. But apart from that, there's not much to it, which is kind of a bit of one of my other kind of issues with it. I would have liked something like a special gauge. I mean, you know, you kind of got the story mode. You're kind of leaning into Initial D a little bit. Why not have your drifting build up a turbo? You know, it's kind of the de facto for these kind of arcade racing games. It's kind of strange to be doing drifting and not getting a turbo. And it kind of takes away a layer of strategy a little bit. From my experience of it, I would have liked something like, you know, a special ability or a turbo bar. But once you get the hang of the racing, it's really satisfying to nail those sections. So maybe just from a pure racing level, maybe that's why they did it. A couple of other niggles. One of the things I didn't like in the tutorial, and it happens in the story mode as well, which is feels a real oversight, is that the sort of text of the story and the tutorials come up on the right hand side. Like, you can see it now, like popping up on the right hand side. And especially during the tutorials, I mean, during the story you can take it or leave it, whether you read the little bits of flavor text, but during the tutorial it's telling you important stuff that you need to know, and it's just popping up in the text in the corner, so you've got to take your eye off of the driving. It doesn't sort of pause the game and let you read it. You just kind of got to carry on driving and also try and read the prompts that they're giving you. So maybe that's a little sort of bit of feedback for the developer there. Maybe they can update the game and during the tutorial just pause the action while those pop-ups come up. But other than that, it's okay. I kind of like it. I like the drifting action. Drifting games aren't usually my thing. I get frustrated with them trying to like drift into corners, but the fact that they've put the drifting mechanic on the right stick really works. It's better than you'd expect it to be, as hard as it is. But once you get, I think what I struggled with at first is you kind of need to use 3 buttons to turn a corner. You need to use the left stick as you would normally do to steer the car normally, even as minimal as it is, it does help. Then using the right stick to do the drift, and then controlling the speed of the drift with the accelerator being on and off. Right, let's just do another race. So we're gonna look at, who should we look at? Let's go with Terra Dart. And we will race Riku. So yeah, I quite like it, to be honest. It's not a sort of game I would usually go for. I don't usually go for drifting games, just due to how they control, but I've been pleasantly surprised. This is a really nippy car. Each of the cars do handle quite differently, so there is a little bit of nuance to each of them and a little bit of learning to be done. This one appears to be more sensitive at speed, but doesn't really get that extra drift when you release the accelerator, needing to use the brake to get the drift. So that's a kind of nice payoff there, is that it goes faster at faster speeds. You know, you can drift without lifting off, but if you want to go around the tighter corners, you've actually got to brake rather than just release accelerator, which obviously slows you down a bit more. So it's kind of a risk and reward there of going around corners, which is really cool. I like that. Even though I still can't catch the cars in front of me. But there are a few drifting games on the Switch. I do tend to sort of steer away from them, just because... steer away from them. Just because, as I say, I'm not a big fan of drifting, just because I find it frustrating. But I really like the way that the right stick drifting works on this. It's a really clever idea. I think it works really well. Once you get used to it, it's kind of like patting your head and rubbing your tummy at first, because you've got 3 different inputs. You've got like the left stick, the right stick, and the acceleration control to do the drifting, and it can get a little bit confusing for your sort of mind and fingers to wrap their sort of, you know, get themselves in sync. But this is actually a really nice car. I'd like to play this one in the story mode. But yeah, once you get used to it, it's really rewarding to sort of nail the corners, and you know, I can see myself actually putting in the time into this game to get better at it, rather than sort of giving up like I normally do with the drifting sort of games. So that's the gameplay. Just before we go, I thought we'd take a look at the modes that are available in the game. So you got the tutorial, you can play that anytime, teach you how to play the game. Got the story mode, which I kind of touched on earlier. I'm still not 100% sure I like it, but it's there. Anyway, you play through all the different levels and take on the different characters in the game, and eventually get their cars. Got these challenges, so this is special little unique challenges that you can set up to win cars. Let's have a quick look at these. You can see these different ones here. Is it all locked? Here's a challenge here. So race against the clock and try to beat the goal time. Limited laps, no restarts. So make sure to deliver. So if you can take that challenge on and beat the time, you'll win that car. That looks like a really nice car, actually. What is that? HPA Katana. Very nice. But yeah, there's a few of these challenges to win the different cars to unlock the story mode. So it's pretty cool. Gives you a nice look at the cars here as well, because that's sort of a lovely sort of cell shading, cartoony style. Really nice. So that's the challenges. We've got an arcade mode, global leaderboards for those as well, which is pretty cool. If you want to take on your friends and randoms to reach the top of the leaderboard. A Grand Prix where you play a series of races. Whoever's got the most points at the end is the winner. Split screen racing, which is really cool. If you've got friends or family members nearby, obviously remember, less than 6, otherwise you'll be in trouble. You can play split screen. We'll play it online, and just have a quick look at the settings. I'll come back to online just to see if we can connect to anyone. Got a few options here. Can turn the motion blur off in options, which some people do like to do. Audio, usual sort of stuff. Gameplay. Turn leaderboards and vibration on and off. Cool stuff. Let's have a quick look at online, see if we can connect to anybody. Let's just go with that. Wait for it to see if we can find anybody. I've tried a few times during my playthrough with the game over the last sort of week or so, try and connect online, but unfortunately it's like there so many Switch online games. It just, you know, isn't the base there that there is on other consoles, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to find anybody. So, but there you go. There is an online mode there, so if you can find people to race with, at least you've got the option. So that's Inertial Drift, as you can probably gather. Quite pleased with this one. It's a game I enjoy. Definitely going to carry on playing it. Trying to get better at it, and it's quite addictive using that that right stick. And once you nail some corners, as I've said before, really is quite rewarding. So a really cool game, Inertial Drift, out now on the Nintendo Switch. One I definitely recommend you have a look at and possibly pick up if you fancy it. So thanks for watching, really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and leave me a comment if you're picking this one up or got any questions. And please subscribe if you're new. But until then, I will see you all next time. Cheers everyone. Bye bye.